just want to welcome everyone that is here, not only on the Zoom call, but anybody who is tuning in live to YouTube, or even for those of you that will be tuning in later on the replay. I am super excited again to welcome everybody to SheRises Amplify. I can't even talk today. Amplify and Thrive Live Speaker Series, where we invite some of the most amazing spiritual masters, gurus, healers, change makers, you name it. I'm like, they're on the show. And the beautiful thing is that all of our speakers donate a gift. And every time that you purchase one of their gifts, your donation goes to my SheRises Foundation, which helps other women in underserved and marginalized communities be able to really step into their leadership, get economic independence through entrepreneurship, through scholarships, other form of funding streams, loans, you name it. That's what we're doing for the women in our community. So I am your host, Kelly Boyer, and I'm so excited because I have one of my good friends, Celine Burgett, on today. And we are going to be the topic that we're going to be talking about is connecting to higher states of consciousness, radical breathwork 101. And for those of you that haven't met Celine, or you might be a little bit familiar with her, but don't know everything about who she is and what she does, she really helps empaths and sensitive people overcome anxiety, overwhelm, exhaustion, just to find clarity and peace and energy, and really takes them to, I'm going to tell you, takes them to another level because I've experienced it in aligning them with their higher self to just live that really empowered, soul fulfilling life. So, welcome, Celine. How are you?
Thanks, Kelly. I am very, very well, and I am so excited to be here with you. I want to thank you for all that you do. Talk about a powerhouse in the world and somebody that helps so many others. So, thank you for letting me be a little part of that.
Oh my gosh, I'm not even a little part, a big part. So,
Oh, thanks.
um, thank you. That's so nice of you to say. I feel the same way about you. So I'm just really excited to have you on here. Before everybody hopped on and we started, you and I were talking about breath work, and I just want people to know that because I want to share a little bit about the power that you have and how you do breath work is that before, I'm going to be honest, people would say, let's do breath work. And I'd be like, okay, I guess I'll breathe. Until Celine was so nice to offer a session to me. And then I had the most extraordinary experience with her. I did it again with her. And then now I'm all about breath work and like finding people in my community to do that amazing, powerful breath work. So, so cool. So her and I were talking about that before we logged on and the amazing things that come along with doing breath work. But you are the expert, so I'm going to leave it to you to go ahead and talk about it. But before we actually dive in, is there anything more that you would like to share about yourself, like what you do and who you are and a little bit about how you came to be?
Oh gosh, sure. Along with breath work, I am also a meditation instructor. I studied with Deepak Chopra. He was actually my teacher, and I am a clairvoyant. Which sounds so silly, but I'm a certified clairvoyant. So I try to kind of bring it all together in my breathwork journeys. And I say journey because, as you now know, doing this type of radical breathwork really is a journey. It's not, and there's nothing wrong with any other kind of breathwork. It's all powerful. This kind, um, I'm really finding, and I'm feeling okay to say this out loud now, can be an alternative to psilocybin therapy. It really is kind of parallel with that because people are having these out of body experiences. They're having I'll say hallucinations, but they're really shifts in consciousness, and they allow us to contact and be in connection with all that is. And so, yeah, taking people on these journeys, I practice energy work and my clairvoyance to share messages with people as they're going through their breathwork journey. So it's pretty cool.
It is so cool. I'm so glad that you mentioned the psilocybin experience because like I was sharing with you, I was just like, I want to say it was maybe it was was it last weekend? I'm like, time starts to blur together. But when I went, because you know, you and I live in different areas. So when I work with you, it's over Zoom, which I'm saying, I want everyone to know you still have an incredible experience. But I had an opportunity to actually go someplace to experience this really incredible breath work. And when I was done, I told my friend who went with me, I said, I really think that I had like, I called it an acid trip, but you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? The psilocybin
Absolutely.
experience, like it was so intense and so vivid that like it really took me a little while to process it because it was so intense. So I just wanted to support that. Like if you're wanting to do like a radical shift in your frequency, your vibration, and just consciousness, like I'm like, I'm there with you, girl. To
Heck yes.
do
And
breath
I
work.
think a lot of people hear the word breath work like you did at first. I was the
Mhm.
same way. For months, someone was trying to get me to do it. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, it just sounds so boring. I know how to breathe. But truly, this type of breath work is a whole other experience if you've never tried it. It really is.
Yeah, it's so incredible. So I'm so glad that you brought that up because, like I said, I had that experience and I was like, I'm wondering if this is normal. Like, no one has ever said it that way, but like the instructor was like, you'll probably experience a higher level of consciousness. I'm like, no, like I was having a trip and it was amazing in
Yeah, you can see
all
the
the best
colors
ways.
and patterns and talk to your spirit
Yes.
guides and all of those things.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. And then, you know, and then you're done and you're like, wow, like, but the truth is that's all your own energy, right? Like that's all your power, right?
It is. It absolutely is. And it's you stepping into that power.
It was, yeah, it was so incredible. So, okay, so now that we're on that topic, why, like, if you could explain to everyone, like, why is breath work so important? Like, what are the, like, what's everything that's in it and the nuances and like,
Yeah, absolutely. It is so important because breath work is one of the most potent ways to regulate your nervous system. Now, why is that important? Because when our nervous system's regulated, we have more clarity. When we have more clarity, we can make decisions that are better for us, so we can make good decisions. We have the ability to choose how we want to feel no matter what's going on around us. And I feel like that is so important right now with what's going on outside of us right now, politically and environmentally, and all the things. So many people allow that to bring them into anger and fear. And, rightly so. However, you don't have to live in that state. And breath work is a way to once again step into your power so you can begin to choose how you want to feel, even if things outside of you aren't going the way you want them to go. Now, that to me is pure power and freedom, right? To really
yes.
be able to feel good no matter what.
Mhm.
So it's breath work helps us to recognize that we can co-create our lives with consciously with universal consciousness.
Mhm.
And that's the direction we're all going. Breath work just helps us to get there even quicker.
Yeah, like I do agree with that. I really do agree with that. It is. It like it really did. You're right because I'm sorry. All I can share is my experience. Like I shared with you. Like I literally just like with you, and then just had this experience. But like you know, I can tell you, like when even though I went through that really incredible experience with my higher consciousness, I remember walking out of there and like my body, like my nervous system was just, it was like in Zen mode. Like I was really calm and like, I'm going to tell you my drive home. Usually I'll tell you when I have to drive in traffic in Phoenix, I get really revved up because it's crazy. Arizona drivers, not the best, just letting you know. But like my drive home, I was just like, yeah, yeah, I'm heading home. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because you activated your parasympathetic nervous system. And that is like, that's how breath work shifts your consciousness. Is
Yeah.
and to really understand this, and I think this helps to make breathwork even more exciting, is when we can understand a little bit of the science underneath it. And to understand that, we have to know a little bit about our autonomic nervous system. And our autonomic nervous system is what beats our heart, and it's what keeps our organs functioning and blinks our eyes and all has us breathe, all the things that we don't really think about, but they happen, hence the name autonomic. I have a hard time saying that. And the autonomic nervous system is broken into two parts. You have the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. The sympathetic is your fight or flight, right? And that's what you experience usually when you're driving. Um, and it's like, it's such an important part of our nervous system, especially when we really are in danger, when we're really being chased or something, which doesn't happen very often in our day to day lives anymore. However, most of us in the Western Hemisphere live in fight or flight, which
Mhm.
is which is crazy because that's what it causes most of our disease. Stress is the number one cause of disease. And, anything from headaches to stomach aches to hives, digestive issues, hormonal imbalances, that list goes on and on and on. And we really are, we're living there most of the time, which is unfortunate. Um, you know, our minds, though, in this day and age are what keep us there. It's not the saber-toothed tigers, it's our thoughts. Our thoughts
Mhm.
keep us in fight or flight, and our minds can't differentiate the difference between what's really happening outside of us and what's going on within. So, worrying about our bank accounts, driving in traffic, fighting with our significant other, all of those put and keep us in fight or flight. Now, our scientists have just recently discovered that we have some control over our autonomic nervous system. They never thought that before. And sages and yogis have known this for centuries. And one of the ways that we can consciously choose to move from parasympathetic to sympathetic and back is through our breath. Now, why would we ever want to move into our fight or flight? Let me tell you. Neuroscientists just recently have found that during moments of high intensity breath, our our cells are put into oxygen deprivation, which is also known as intermittent hypoxia. I had to write some of this down because I forget these technical names. And when we go into this, our cells actually think that we're dying. And that sounds really scary, but nobody's ever died during doing breath work before. But when our cells go into this intermittent hypoxia, they truly think that they're dying. And so all of our cells that were not very healthy to begin with, whether they were in your liver or stomach or brain or wherever, they start to turn on, they start to mobilize. And then once we introduce more oxygen back into the system, they turn back into their normal function. They're back into homeostasis. And so, on a physical level, our bodies are totally renewed after doing this type of breath work, putting it through a stress, and then bringing the oxygen back. And so, if you notice when you're in fight or flight, we breathe really shallow and very quickly. And it's mostly chest breathing. And if you guys, if we want to even just try it out and practice it, we can do, and it's usually through your mouth when you're stressed out. If you notice when people are exercising, a lot of them are breathing through their mouth because they're stressing their bodies. They want to try to get more oxygen. This gets us into that fight or flight. When we breathe slowly through our nose, it brings us into that parasympathetic nervous system, into that rest or digest. it calms everything down. And when we bring our diaphragm into that, the diaphragm starts to massage our organs and brings even more blood flow to our intestines. And that lets our bodies know that we are safe. We don't have to run. And it's what you were feeling in traffic the other day. You were just calm. So breath work helps us to come out of that sympathetic nervous reaction into that rest or digest. But when we're practicing this breath work, we put ourselves in both so
Mhm.
that we can wake up those cells. Now, on, not just a physical level, but on, let's see, on a spiritual level, when our body thinks we're dying, our ego starts to disappear. We automatically come into clarity and want to be in forgiveness of ourselves, of our moms, of our friends, of anything that hasn't been put to peace in our life. So, a lot of this clarity, a lot of peace comes in, and we're able to connect to something bigger than ourselves. So, when we're in that fight or flight during breath work, a lot of this clarity and peace and connection to all that is comes in. And that's where you start to see some of those colors and like you said, that trip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when that I'm gonna tell you when that started happening to me, because they had us wear face masks.
Mm-hmm.
So it was
Mm-hmm.
like really dark. I could feel myself as I was laying there going, oh, oh, whoa. Like I could feel my head moving because I was literally just seeing so much. I was seeing some of the coolest stuff. Like I was just like, whoa. And like just like you, like I am clairvoyant also. So usually I like to think that I see pretty well, but like I've never seen like I've seen during that. Like it was so vivid and so intense. And I just wanted to sit there forever, just laying there going, whoa, yeah.
And when you were in that state, how did it make you feel?
Oh my gosh, I was so light. Like I was so, like I could feel my vibration raising and then I was just like so euphoric. Like I was just in my like the best way I could describe it, like my happy place. And the way that and even like the way that I felt, like I could feel my confidence rising, like I was just so secure who I was, not, like as a spiritual being and a human being. And when I was done, I remember the instructor, he's like, "How do you feel?" And I'm like, I don't even quite know how to like explain it, but like the word that I had was so expansive. Like we always talk about wanting to be expansive. Like I would like that I'm going to say that I feel like before like that I felt expansive, but it was nothing like that. And I like, and now like the conversation that we had, I'm like, I want to get back to that
Mhm.
every day, just being back in that very profound expansion where you are you. That's the only way I could describe it. Do you know if that makes sense? Like it totally makes sense when you're like the ego disappears. Like it really does. And you are just you. Like,
You are just you. How
yeah.
cool and beautiful is that? Yes. Everything else just starts to fall away.
Hmm.
The walls come down, the grudges we hold, all
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was incredible. So I have a question for you that you brought this up because, for those that do know me or that don't know me, you're going to learn something about me. So before, like, I'm going to say one of the careers that I had, I was a probation officer. So if anybody knows, that's not the safest job to have.
Didn't
You're
know that.
literally in danger like every day because you're always the way that we describe it, like you're living in the orange, like you're in the orange zone where you're not quite in the red, where like you're like, holy crap, I may die right now, but like you're ready for that possible attack. But like I remember the first time that I had an experience where it was like holy crap, I may die.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I remember, so just so you know, like we went through like hours and hours of training, like mental training for that. But until you're in it, the mental training, like you don't realize that the mental training, if it kicks in or it doesn't. And I remember that like I started getting that tunnel vision, which is absolutely what you don't want in those
Mm.
scenarios. But I started getting tunnel vision. And the guy that I was with, I just remember he looked over at me and reminded me, he's like, breathe. So then of course I'm all like in my chest, he's all breathe from your stomach. And so then that was all I needed at that time for it to click in. So the moment that I started breathing from my stomach, my tunnel vision went away, my clarity came in, like that, like I was back into, like honestly, because you get into the like protect mode because you want to start protecting everybody that's around. But like I remember the tunnel vision had gotten so intense. I was like, I don't I for sure thought, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna die is what I was thinking
Mhm, mhm.
because I couldn't focus. And then the moment that he said that, and then the muscle memory kicked in about the breathing, all of a sudden I was back where I needed to be. Like I was good to go. Like, but any situation that I had after that, that was the first thing that always came in, breathe from your stomach. And then immediately I was very like so focused on what needed to be done. Um, but it reminded me of that because I was like, that makes sense because you do the chest breathing and then like when you're chest breathing it takes away the oxygen from the brain and then you get like this. So um but the reason that I bring this up is because sorry not to like take away from you, but like
You're
is
not at all.
that just like we were talking about, I'm a research nut, so I've been doing a lot of research and they've been like, I've seen a lot of studies start to come out, especially when we're talking about our first responders because they are in it at times when they are in it. And it's all about really like even going in more depth than the training that I got about doing this type of breathing. And they putting them through those situations where like you talked about, like you put your body in the fight or flight and then you're able to like you learn how to regulate it.
Mhm.
Am I making sense what I'm saying?
Yes, you are. Absolutely. And so that stomach breathing, you were able to use the diaphragm to start to really bring even more oxygen into the organs, into that in the intestines, which is our second brain. So switching that on to bring you back into that parasympathetic nervous system. And look how quickly you were able to do that by using your breath.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it had like I just had to do it like a couple of times and then I was like, okay, like I'm ready to go. Let's do this. You know what I mean? So I
Absolutely.
so I and the reason that I bring that up is because you're right. I do feel like we live like we're just living day to day trying to survive. So we're constantly in that mode.
Absolutely. So it's such a good idea to just check in with your breath every once in a while during the day and say, oh, where's my breath going? Usually it's just going into the lungs. And
Hmm.
then taking that nice deep breath with your stomach, like you said, just like babies breathe, their
Hmm.
stomach expands because they're filling their lungs from the bottom to the top. And you can shift your consciousness in the matter of seconds, really, you know?
It, like I said, it's so cool. Like I'm so glad that you came on when you did because I was like, oh, I cannot wait to talk to her about this stuff. So, okay, so you do radical breath work.
Mhm.
Will you like can you explain that and then like can you kind of talk about how that helps in shifting your consciousness?
Yes, absolutely. So there's so many types of breath work out there. And this breath work, when I was learning to become a certified facilitator, really they just called it breath work. And I wanted to come up with a name just to help differentiate this from other types because there are so many types.
Mhm.
This kind is done, it's 3 steps. This is all through the mouth because what are we doing? We are turning on the fight or flight in order to deprive our cells of oxygen so that we can saturate them again. And we want to put our bodies through that. It's what shifts our consciousness much more quickly than if we were to just breathe through our nose. And that, that can work too. But I found that this breathing through your mouth very quickly for about 20 minutes to a half an hour really gets you to that place because the cells are freaking out. They're thinking that you're dying. So if you want me to show you how it's done, we can, and we can practice a little bit if you'd like.
Yeah, no, I love it. I would love for everyone to experience this so that
Okay,
they
but I want you guys to know that this is what you can do on your own. And if you come for a class, no matter where you go, just know that music is going to be involved, and that's such a big part of the journey because you're taking yourself on this incredible healing journey. So there's music, sometimes there's essential oils. I use a drum and different instruments for sound healing, and I would also practice energy healing on you too. But right now, let's just practice the breath work because that's the biggest part of it. And you can experience just a little bit of it. But I want to make sure everybody is either sitting or lying down because you will get a little bit lightheaded and maybe a little dizzy and a little tingly. And please know that all of that is totally normal in breath work. And let me show you. Again, 3 parts all through the mouth. We want to I'm going to stand up here. If you would, just to practice, put a hand on your low belly just beneath your navel and a hand on your upper chest. What we're going to do is we're going to breathe first into the low belly, upper chest, exhale. Low belly, upper chest, exhale. And as you exhale, I want you to imagine that you're blowing out birthday candles about 6 to 8 feet in front of you. This is going to help with the oxygen deprivation. So here we go. We're going to low belly, upper chest, exhale. Keep going. Low belly, upper chest, exhale. And your mouth is going to get totally dried out. Just keep going. And when that happens, you're going to press your tongue into the lower part of your mouth. That will help moisten everything. But I want you to keep going, even and especially when it's uncomfortable, because it's worth it. They don't call it breath work for nothing. Keep going, my friends. And I want you to bring even more air in than you have before. If you can bring 10% more oxygen in, please do it. You are safe to be uncomfortable. You are safe to be in your body. You are safe to feel tingly and lightheaded. And you are safe to let go of control. Now we're going to take this a step further, my friends, and I want you to just breathe through your mouth double time into your chest, okay? And we're going to do this together. Really expand that chest in and out and in and out and blow nice and hard those candles that are way out in front of you. And this may get a little uncomfortable, but you've got this and you are safe, and I have your back. And now just into your belly double time. And this is a little bit of work. Buddha belly, Buddha belly, Buddha belly. Really expand. Do the work. Move the belly. Very good. Very good. See if you can do this for one more minute with me. Expand, contract. Expand, contract. And now, my friends, let's bring it back into the belly, chest, exhale. And just for fun, I want you all to take the deepest, deepest breath all the way down into your belly, filling up your lungs all the way to the top, all the way to the top. And when you're full, I want you to hold it. I want you to hold it. Hold when you're full. And hold and hold and lock and hold. Allow that breath and that pressure to come all the way up into your head if you can, holding it in the tippy, tippy part of your head. And if you can't, that's okay, but I want you to hold. You've got this. You've got this. And on the exhale, I want you to let everything go. And just sit with that for a moment or two in that space that you created. Breathing through your nose, taking long, cool ribbon of air all the way down to your toes. When you practice radical breath work for 20 minutes to 30 minutes, like we do in class, then you have time for about 20 minutes to sit in this state of consciousness that you created and noticing how you feel and what comes up. And I'd be interested to hear what, if anything, came up for you in just 5 minutes, maybe 7 of breath work. So give yourself a moment. Give yourself a moment. And if you closed your eyes, you can open them when you're ready. Mm.
Like, I feel amazing.
I do too. And I was like, yeah,
Woo!
yeah, I wasn't even really in my actual zone because I was talking, but I felt it too.
Yeah, that, oh my gosh. Like, I'm right back there to my Zen mode again. I'm just like, yes. Oh, I love
Yeah.
it.
Oh, Kelly, I love that you're in Zen mode and that your last breathwork session brought you there. And I want to bring up though that this type of breathwork doesn't always put people right into a Zen mode. And that a lot of what this breathwork does is bring up old traumas and emotions, memories that have been stored that we had forgotten about that haven't been healed. And when we practice this, we want to be in a very vulnerable state so that we can feel these feelings that come up. Sometimes they are laughter, and that's great because laughter is so healing. But more often than not, deeper, shall we say, darker emotions come up to be healed. And when we're practicing this, oftentimes if you go to a class, you will hear a lot of crying and sometimes screaming, sometimes shouting. And that kind of leads me into what one of the things I wanted to talk about is our body plays such a big role in breath work. Our body is a conduit of energy, and our emotions really are energy in motion. And when we experience a trauma, did you guys know that our bodies have the ability to process that trauma in 90 seconds? And that's if we allow ourselves to feel the emotion fully when it happens. So often, though, we're in that fight or flight, or we just want to push it down. It's too uncomfortable. Years can go by. And in breathwork, we have the time and the space and the ability to re-feel that fully without attaching our story to it, without judging ourselves for feeling it. And that is where the deepest healing happens. So, allowing yourself to feel those emotions fully. And what can happen, and perhaps it happened with some of you guys practicing just this few minutes, is our hands can get really crampy. Did that happen to you at all when you were practicing?
Not, I'm gonna say not this time, but in like it's
Previous?
happened with you when
Yeah.
I remember the first time I did it with you. So just a little bit to piggyback, I remember my hand, like I felt like I had little crab hands.
Yeah.
Like, but you're right about that emotion. So one of the emotions that I struggle with so much is anger, like healthy anger, right? And
Mhm.
I remember in that first session, and I don't know if you remember this, because I like afterwards I was swearing a lot.
Yes, I
You
think
do
I do
remember?
remember
Okay.
that.
So, but like I remember feeling I remember feeling so much anger, but like not in like a scary way. Like I could feel that I was processing it out and like, like like in our society, we always tell, you don't have a right to be angry, right? So that's what I grew up with. And but like for the first time, like I felt so good about being angry and I could feel it. I could feel it process with each breath that was like coming out. And then of course, when we were all done, I was like, beep, 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 beep. Like I feel like that was like the result of just finally getting the body just releasing the last of it. So,
Yes,
but
girl. And
but
I feel
but oh, I'm just gonna say,
sorry,
but
go
I did. I had like crab hands, and I was so like, I'm not gonna lie. Like in while I was doing it, I was like, I was like, I know I'm gonna have to like go to the bathroom after this. I hope my crab hands open.
yes. Oh my gosh, lady, yes. That happens very often, especially for people just starting to do breath work. It happened to me probably the first 18-ish times I practiced breath work. And I have so many things I want to say. One about the anger, especially as women, we are not welcomed to feel anger, and that's unfortunate because we do feel it and we're allowed to feel it, and it's healthy to express it in a healthy way, of course. So during breathwork sessions, oftentimes I'll have people scream, even if you're not feeling it at the moment, to get that buried anger out. And we all know that underneath that anger is typically hurt and sadness. But we have to remove that first layer, before we get to the real cause of why we're feeling angry or that the emotion underneath it. Um, but yeah, the hands, the jaw can get that way. And it does, as you found out, go away once you stop the active breath work. It's not dangerous. And when those things happen, we want to ask, what is it I'm holding on to? What is it I'm not saying? Or sometimes it's, what is it I'm not wanting to hear? Are sometimes people will start kind of having tremors or even convulsing where it looks like they're having an exorcism. And I want to say it is very similar to having an exorcism because it's emotion deep held emotion finally leaving the body, and it's anger and fear leaving the body. So you may have the urge to move, to scream, to kick, to wiggle, to you might get really, really cold and really, really hot. And that's your body's other way of, just like when we're sick, it heats up to help get the bacteria killed. But we're doing the same thing. We're really working on getting what's been stuck for so long out. So it's just fascinating. Our body plays such a big role. Any type of ache or pain or stiffness is essentially a block to our emotion. And usually those places are holding on to emotion, and breath work helps you to release those. So again, helps on that physical level too.
Yeah. So, the last time that I did do breath work, I mean, I had the crab claws so much. But what's interesting, Celine, is I did think about you and I was like, oh, I have to like release whatever it is that I'm controlling because I remember you saying that when we did ours. And the moment, and in all honesty, I didn't really know what it was that I was releasing. I was just asking
Okay.
my body to release it. And the
Mm-hmm.
moment that I released it, interestingly enough, my hands did come back open, but like in my palm chakras, I had so much, I'm honestly like powerful energy that it was I couldn't believe like and I could feel it coming out of like my palms. So I almost feel like I don't know, like I knew that it released, but I felt like it was releasing from there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember sitting there going, man, because like I do Reiki too. And I was like, man, before I do Reiki, I'm going to do this breath work because it really like charged up my palm chakras. Like it was incredible. I almost felt like, sorry, I have a son. So, we watch all of like the Marvel movies, but like Iron Man, like how he shoots out, like that's how it was feeling. And I was literally thinking, gosh, I almost feel like I'm like a superhero style shooting stuff out of my palms. But
Mm-hmm.
it was incredible. Like even just what we did, I could feel my energy starting to like, you know,
If you are
here I
ever
am.
tired, this is free. This is a non medication way of bringing that energy up, raising your vibration. You can do it anywhere, anytime. And just to go back to the claw hands one more time, on a scientific level, scientists will say, well, you either have like a magnesium deficiency, or it's the oxygen deprivation. But really, if that was the case, it only happened to me only like the first 18 times. It doesn't happen to me anymore when I practice. And I haven't started taking more magnesium, and I'm doing the same type of breath work. So I really believe it's that on that spiritual level of why these things happen in our body.
I'm going to tell you, I agree with that too. Yeah, I totally agree with that. So, oh my gosh. So cool. Do you mind taking questions from
Oh, not
we
at
have
all.
our audience right here. Let me let oh, hold on one second. There we go. Okay. So we have a beautiful audience. We have three people that came to the live. So I don't know if any of you have any questions for her or any comments that you guys want to share. Maybe share an experience that you had with that 5 to 7 minute breath work we did. Does anybody have anything that they want to share or questions to ask? I'll keep the chat up too, because sometimes people rather write in the chat.
Yeah, that's totally fine. I wasn't even expecting to do a little breath work. So I'm so glad we did, just to give a
Me
little
too.
teeny teaser of it. Yeah. And if you guys are ever interested, I know Nikki, you've done this with me. Tomorrow morning, I have a Zoom class. You can come, and not have any experience. And we just kind of practice together and do a little meditation together.
So yes, I'm going to encourage if anybody on this call or anybody who sees the replay that if they have not experienced your radical breath work, I highly recommend it. Two, send me the link. I will put it in your speaker center so that they have it, so that and we'll get it sent out so that they can register to be able to do it. Um,
That would be great. Oh, thank you. And I'm so glad, Jen, that you feel more peace. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. And the video, the link that I sent you,
Mhm.
that's really a class on anxiety and overwhelm. And it does have this breath work, and it has other meditations, and it has a life-changing meditation. What I started to do back when I was experiencing a ton of anxiety and a ton of depression, and I had a hard time getting myself out of it, I kind of put everything that I've learned together in a video, and that's what I shared with you. So if you guys are interested, there's some of this breath work and a lot of other things on it too.
So I'm guessing that you're talking about the
Yeah,
donation
the
gift that you
donation.
guys have.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I was just gonna have you share about that, but it sounds like it's jammed, like it's jam packed with some really good stuff in that.
There's a lot to it. So if you do decide you want to do it, just take your time with it. There's a lot of different tools that you will have to pull out of your back pocket when you're not feeling well, when something big or little is going on in your life. And for me, those tools have been truly life changing. Actually, one of them saved my life. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah, so if you like, if those, like I said, those of you that are on the call, that are joining in the live, or even those that are on the replay, like definitely click on her gift link so that you guys can get it. I want everyone to know I love when I get feedback. So a lot of people did give me feedback on the donation. So the donation will start at $5. Please, know that it really is going to something that's really important. I'm all something that's so near and dear to my heart, just about empowering women. But you know what? And share it. You can share the link with whoever you want. But the donation will start at $5. And then if you're feeling guided or generous to like donate more, it's of course it's welcome. But like anything that's donated is a blessing to the scholarships and helping women out. So I'll just thank everybody ahead of time, but definitely get it. I'm telling you, also go to her class. I can't emphasize enough that when her and I first talked about it, I was like, I think I'm curious. Remember, I was like, oh, try that out. I just kind of want to see what happens. And after that first time, I sent it out to people I know. I was like, you guys have to do this. This was incredible. And now, now I'm going to tell you, I'm on board. I'm all about breath work and just the way that it really does change. Like it really does. It is life changing. So I agree with that. And since I've been doing it with the encouragement of you, like I feel better. I have more energy. I think I told you I used it the other day to get rid of a headache that I had and it worked. Like your breath is so powerful. And I think logically I knew that, but until I experienced it, now it's all connected for me.
Mm,
So it's
beautiful.
so cool. So yes, thank you so much for sharing and being here. Is there anything else that you want to share? Any messages? Anything else with the audience before we say goodbye?
I just want to remind everyone that you are your own guru. You have everything within you to heal. Breath is just one, it's a huge one. Really, everything is within you. So never give your power away. And I am just so honored to get to share something that's helped me so much in my life with you. And I want to thank you guys for being here. It really, really means a lot. And I'm sending you all love.
Thank you so much, Celine. It's always a pleasure to have you on. You're so much fun.
Thank
uh,
you.
and I am very grateful because you really taught me like another way of being that is so important, mind, body, and soul. So I'm very grateful for that. Um, and seriously, everybody, if you have not experienced her, I mean, we only did 5 to 7 minutes. Imagine like a full hour with her. I'm telling you, if you've got stuff you need to move out, that you need to transmute, transform, if you just want to experience that higher level of consciousness, I'm telling you, Celine can take you there. And it is honestly, it like so incredible. So I highly, highly recommend it. And I'm going to tell you, you will have an amazing experience, even if you don't live where she lives, even online. You will have a powerful experience. The way she moves you through it and just her gentleness, like you really do feel held and safe. And you feel safe to be vulnerable. You know, like I said, I was swearing all over the place. But I'm telling you, Celine, I really love the work that you do. So thank you so much for coming on here and sharing. And just, I just want to encourage you to just keep going, be you, keep sharing it. We need it. We definitely need it, especially right now with the way things are a little crazy.
Oh,
So
thank you.
I, if anybody, I'll open it up again. Does anybody have any questions, comments that they have for Celine? Um, Emma, anyone? I'll read what's in the chat too, if you guys want to put anything in the chat. I know Nikki said that that was awesome. So I don't know
Thank
if you saw that,
you.
but Nikki said that was awesome. I love that Jen feels more peaceful. It really is profound. I didn't realize it, but I really feel like this is such a profound technique, and it's with our own life force energy, which is even cooler. So, all
Thank you,
right.
friend. Thank you for having me. It's been so fun, as always, getting to talk to you.
I'm like, you'll have to come back again for sure. So know that invitation is open to you. So thank you everybody for joining us. Next week, we're going to have Blair Stanzelau on. She's talking about wishes. So I'm excited to know
Ooh.
what clever things she has up her sleeve about wishes. But thank you everybody today who is currently on the call, those that are watching live and those that will be watching the replay. I'm always so grateful, and it's such a blessing just to have people just tune in, just to learn and just be in oneness with everyone. So thank you everyone. And Celine, we're gonna see you again, right?
Oh, you will absolutely see me again. And maybe we'll do something live, and have like a destination breathwork something.
Oh my gosh, I hope so.
Yes.
We've got to make that work. So yeah,
Yes,
so
I'm all
stay
about it.
everybody. Her and I are in the mix of a collaboration. So we'll see what we create. So, all right, everyone, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate and love all of you. And you know what? Until next time, everyone.